You know what the algorithm does that genuinely drives me insane? It shows you the same 5 science fiction shows on a loop. The ones everyone has already seen. The ones that have been recommended to you life. The ones you either watched years ago or actively decided aren't for you. And meanwhile, buried somewhere on a platform you already pay for, there are shows that have no right to be this unknown. Shows that ran for 4, 5, 6 seasons and somehow never broke through. I've done the digging. 15 sci-fi series. Most of them available right now on a platform you already have that cover every corner of what the genre can do. Political, comic, heartbreaking, paranoid, philosophical, genuinely funny. And one show, number 1 on this list, that the scientific community has repeatedly called the most accurate, most intelligent, most ambitious science fiction ever put on television. 15 series, ranked. Let's go. Number 15, Travelers.
I have a secret. I know the future.
Everyone listen! If you don't follow me right now, you're going to die.
Here's the setup. Humanity is dying. Centuries from now, almost nothing survives. So they send people back. Not robots, not probes. Human consciousnesses, transmitted backwards through time and overwritten into the bodies of people in our era, moments before they were going to die anyway. These are the Travelers, and their mission is to stop the catastrophe before it happens. Eric McCormack leads an ensemble cast playing a team of travelers navigating their inherited lives, jobs, families, relationships they didn't choose, while running covert missions for a future they've never seen. Brad Wright created this, the man behind Stargate, and what he builds here is a sci-fi show that spends far more time on the emotional cost of identity than on the mechanics of time travel. What does it mean to live someone else's life? To inherit their grief, their debts, their children? To love people who love a person you replaced? 3 seasons, a clean ending, no loose threads left dangling. Those who have watched the show are still mad at Netflix for quietly canceling it after 3 brilliant seasons. Those who haven't found it yet are the lucky ones. They get to watch it for the first time, criminally underseen. Start here tonight. Number 14, 12 Monkeys.
About 4 years from now, most of the human race is going to be wiped out.
You think you're from the future?
I have to go back in time and stop the apocalypse.
You already know the 1995 film. Terry Gilliam, Bruce Willis, Brad Pitt. One of the finest science fiction films ever made. The show is not a retread. It is something else entirely. Amanda Schull and Aaron Stanford play a scientist and a time-traveling operative from the future, trying to stop a plague that wiped out almost all of humanity. The mechanics are the same. What the show does with those mechanics across 4 seasons is not. Where the film was about the tragedy of a man trapped in a loop he cannot escape, the show is about choice, about whether the future is fixed or whether the people willing to fight hard enough can change it. And it keeps genuinely surprising you, not just with plot twists, but with what it's actually arguing. The final season is among the finest concluding runs of any sci-fi series in the last decade. It earns everything it asks of you. If you loved the film and have avoided the show because you assumed it would be lesser, bro, you're wrong. 100% wrong. Go fix that tonight. Number 13, The OA.
7 years ago, when she went missing, she was blind.
Mom?
I want to be honest with you about this one, because the OA will not work for everyone. And I think telling you that up front is the only respectful thing to do. Prairie Johnson was blind. She went missing for 7 years. She returns, able to see. She asks her adoptive parents to call her the OA, and she refuses to tell the FBI what happened to her. Instead, she tells 5 strangers. Britt Marling co-created and stars in this, and what she and Zal Batmanglij built is something genuinely unlike anything else on television. Part mystery, part mythology, part something that genuinely resists categorization. There are moments in this show, a specific sequence in the final episode of Season 1 in particular, that divided audiences so completely and so immediately that the conversation about whether it worked became its own cultural event. The people who love this show, they love it with an almost religious intensity. It gave them something they couldn't get anywhere else. 2 seasons. A third was planned and canceled. The ending of season 2 is one of the most audacious, most unresolved, most genuinely haunting things I have encountered. Go in knowing nothing. Go in with patience. And if it takes hold of you, it will hold you for years. Number 12. Station 11.
Can I have your attention, please? We have shelter. We have food. This is the best thing that could have possibly happened.
A flu pandemic kills 99% of humanity. Not slowly, in days. 20 years later, a traveling theater company moves between isolated settlements, performing Shakespeare and music for survivors. Their motto, survival is insufficient. Patrick Somerville adapted Emily St. John Mandel's novel for HBO Max, and what he made is something almost no post-apocalyptic story attempts. A show in which the apocalypse is not the point. Survival is not the point. The question, what do we keep? What do we carry? What makes life worth sustaining is the point. Himesh Patel, Mackenzie Davis, and Gael Garcia Bernal lead an ensemble that moves across multiple timelines. Before, during, and 20 years after. And the way those timelines fold into each other is some of the most controlled, most patient television storytelling of the decade. There is no villain you can point to. There is no mission to complete. There is just a group of people in an impossible world asking what theater is for, what music is for, what memory is for. 1 season, 8 episodes. The kind of thing you finish and sit with for days. Number 10. Resident Alien.
There's an alien race that's planning on taking over the Earth. And there is only one person who may have the ability to stop them.
After all of that existential dread, here is a show that will make you laugh out loud multiple times per episode, while also somehow making you feel things you weren't expecting about what it means to be human. An alien crash lands in Colorado, assumes the identity of a local doctor, tries to blend in while completing his original mission, destroying humanity. The problem is that the longer he stays, the more he starts to understand, and like the people he came to kill. Alan Tudyk plays Harry Vanderspiegel, and what he does, the deadpan bewilderment, the alien logic applied to human customs, the way he describes ordinary social interactions as if observing a species, he finds simultaneously baffling and fascinating, is some of the finest comedic performance on television in years. But here's what nobody tells you about Resident Alien. It's actually a very tender show, about belonging, about what it feels like to be somewhere you didn't choose, surrounded by people you didn't expect to care about. 4 seasons, beloved by everyone who found it. Most people haven't found it yet. Put it on when you need something that will make you feel better about the world. It will work. Number 9. 11/22/63.
That was 1960. I need you to go back there to prevent the assassination of John F. Kennedy.
Stephen King wrote the novel. J.J. Abrams produced the series. James Franco plays a high school English teacher who discovers a portal in the back of a diner that takes him to September 9th, 1960. He has been asked to do one thing: prevent the assassination of John F. Kennedy, stop Lee Harvey Oswald, save Dallas, change everything. 8 episodes, Hulu miniseries, and one of the finest King adaptations ever put on screen. What makes it extraordinary, what separates it from every other time travel to save history premise, is its central argument. The past does not want to be changed. Not in some abstract, mechanical way. Actively, specifically, as though history has an immune system and recognizes the intruder. And underneath all of that, underneath the conspiracy and the period detail and the paranoia, is a love story. Franco falls in love with a woman he cannot bring back, a woman who exists only in a decade he cannot stay in, and Sarah Gadon plays her with a warmth and intelligence that makes the whole tragedy land exactly where it needs to. One of the best things King has had made from his work. Starts, ends, does what it came to do. Number 8. Foundation.
We should kill them. We can murder the men, but what about the movement, brother?
Isaac Asimov published the Foundation novels between 1942 and 1993. They are among the most influential science fiction ever written. Hollywood spent decades failing to adapt them because the story, a mathematician predicts the fall of galactic civilization and builds a library to preserve human knowledge through the Dark Age, has no obvious protagonist, no conventional villain, no single plot. David S. Goyer found the way in. Apple TV Plus gave him money that visibly hits the screen in every single frame. And what Goyer builds is the most genuinely epic science fiction television has attempted. Not in the Marvel sense, not in the spectacle sense, but in the classical sense. Centuries of history. The long, slow collapse of empire. The question of whether one man's mathematics can save 100,000 years of progress. Jared Harris plays Harry Seldon, the mathematician, and he's doing something very specific. Playing a man who has seen the future and cannot share it. Who must be believed rather than proven. Who must be patient across decades, because he is the only one who understands the stakes. 2 seasons in, still building. The kind of show that rewards the viewers willing to think while they watch. If you gave up on adapting Asimov, this is why you should try again. Number 7. Doctor Who. I know, you've heard of it. You've seen the blue box, you've clocked the scarbs and the sonic screwdrivers, and the discourse and the decades of cultural noise. And maybe you've concluded that it isn't really for you. I'm asking you to reconsider. Russell T. Davies brought Doctor Who back in 2005 and did something almost no revival has managed. He made it genuinely matter again. Not nostalgically, not ironically, actually emotionally, on its own terms. The Doctor is a Time Lord, last of their kind, traveling through time and space in a ship called the TARDIS, bigger on the inside, picking up companions from ordinary life and showing them the extraordinary scale of the universe. That's the premise. What the show does with it, episode to episode, season to season, is almost impossible to categorize. Horror, comedy, historical tragedy, political satire, pure children's adventure, and then 3 scenes later, something that makes grown adults cry on public transport. And underneath all of it, under every monster, every regeneration, every spectacular finale, is one recurring question. What does it cost to live as long as the Doctor has? To watch everyone you love get left behind? 17 plus years. Hundreds of episodes. You don't watch it all at once. You find your Doctor, and then you understand why the people who love this show love it like it's personal. Because it is. Number 6. Devs.
The last time I saw him, he was headed toward Devs. And then he disappears. Something bad happened to him.
Alex Garland wrote and directed all 8 episodes himself. The man who made Ex Machina and Annihilation. A young software engineer at a quantum computing company, Amaya, watches her boyfriend disappear after his first day in the company's mysterious development division. She starts asking questions. The answers she finds are worse than she imagined. Nick Offerman plays Forrest, the company's CEO, a man building something in a secure glass cube in the middle of a redwood forest. He barely speaks. When he does, every word has the weight of something that cannot be taken back. What Devs is actually about, under the thriller mechanics, under the corporate paranoia, is determinism. The question of whether free will exists. Whether every action you have ever taken was always going to happen. Whether the future is already written in the physics of the universe. The show presents this question with the seriousness of a philosophy lecture and the tension of a psychological thriller. And it reaches a conclusion. A real one, argued through the logic of everything that came before, that I have not been able to stop thinking about since I watched it. 8 episodes. One story fully told. Watch it alone. Take your time. Number 5. Utopia. A group of strangers meet on the internet, drawn together by an obsession with a mysterious graphic novel called The Utopia Experiments. The novel seems to predict real-world catastrophes, and then someone starts killing anyone connected to it. Dennis Kelly created this for Channel 4 in the UK, and it is one of the most visually distinctive, most uncompromising, most genuinely disturbing things I have ever seen on television. The color palette alone. Saturated, almost surreal yellows and greens against brutal violence. Signals immediately that this show will not behave like anything else. It uses beauty and horror in the same frame, sometimes in the same shot. What it's actually about is a conspiracy so large, so old, and so coldly rational that the people running it are not evil in any recognizable way. They have done the mathematics, they believe in what they're doing, and the show is willing to sit with the possibility that they might not be entirely wrong, which is the most disturbing thing any thriller can do. 2 seasons, canceled too soon, an ending that has stayed with me for years. The American remake exists on Amazon Prime. Do not watch that. Watch the UK version. Number 4, Sense8.
Few know what it means to be reborn, a sensate. A what?
Right. This one is different. I want you to know that going in, because if you're expecting Sense8 to behave like a normal sci-fi show, you will spend the first 3 episodes confused and the next 20 unable to stop. 8 strangers across 8 countries suddenly become mentally and emotionally linked. They can feel each other, share skills, enter each other's consciousness in moments of need. They are a cluster, and someone is hunting them. The Wachowskis sisters made this, the people behind The Matrix, and it carries that same refusal to apologize for scale, for ambition, for sincerity. What Sense8 is actually about, underneath the globe-spanning action sequences and the philosophy, is empathy as a survival mechanism. The idea that feeling what another person feels is not weakness, that connection is the most radical thing a human being can offer another. It is excessive, it is expensive. Netflix canceled it. The fan response was so enormous, they funded a 2-hour finale to close the story. Watch the 2 seasons. Watch the finale, and understand why the people who love this show love it like it's personal. Because for a lot of them, it is. Number 3, Farscape. Here's a show that has been quietly described as one of the greatest science fiction series ever made by the people who've seen it. And somehow, 25 years later, most people still haven't. John Crichton is an American astronaut. An experiment goes wrong, he gets pulled through a wormhole and ends up on the other side of the galaxy, alone on a living ship full of escaped alien prisoners who have no reason to trust him and no way to help him get home. The Jim Henson Company made this, which means the alien puppetry is extraordinary. Not the cheesy kind, but the kind that makes you forget entirely that these aren't actors. Pilot, the ship's navigator, is a puppet creation so technically accomplished and so emotionally present that he regularly outperforms the human cast. But here's what Farscape does that almost no sci-fi series before or since has managed. It changes. Radically. Continuously. The show in Season 4 is barely the same show as Season 1, in the best possible way. Characters become unrecognizable. Relationships go places you didn't think television was allowed to go. Ben Browder and Claudia Black, one of the finest screen partnerships in the genre. Chemistry that earns every moment it asks you to believe in. 4 seasons and a mini-series that closes the story. If you've never watched it, set aside a weekend. You will not regret it. Number 2, Orphan Black.
An illegal human cloning trial. There's 9 of you.
No. There's only one of me.
Before I tell you what Orphan Black is about, I need to tell you about Tatiana Maslany. She plays clones. Multiple clones. A street-smart grifter, a suburban mother, an uptight scientist, a trained assassin, a performance artist, and across 5 seasons, she plays all of them, frequently in the same scene, often inhabiting one clone impersonating another. This is not a technical gimmick. It is the finest performance of sustained physical and emotional range I have seen from any actor in any medium in the last decade. You stop tracking how she does it because the characters are simply, completely, undeniably different people. The show, created by Graham Manson and John Fawcett, is about human cloning, bioethics, corporate ownership of genetic material, and a group of women trying to understand who made them and why. And it is every bit as good as that sounds. Maslany won the Emmy in 2016. She should have won it every year prior. The first season finale will make your jaw drop. The second will make it worse. The show sustains itself across 5 seasons in a way that most series attempting this kind of mythology never manage. One of the best casts on television in the last 15 years. One of the best premises. And a performance at its center that belongs in the conversation about the greatest acting ever done in the format. Number 1. The Expanse.
With the opening of the alien gates, we are at a crossroads. No longer will Belters be persecuted.
Take a breath, because this one deserves it. The year is approximately 2350. Humanity has colonized the solar system. Earth is an overpopulated welfare state. Mars is a militarized colony that has spent generations terraforming a planet they've never seen green. And the Belt, the asteroid mining communities in the outer solar system, is a working class that neither planet cares about and both exploit. Then, a ship disappears near Saturn. A detective on Ceres is hired to find a missing woman. An ice freighter crew survives an attack that shouldn't have happened, and a United Nations executive starts pulling on a thread that connects all 3. Sci-Fi ran it for 3 seasons. Cancelled it. The fan response, including the fan-funded billboard campaign over Amazon headquarters, was so overwhelming that Amazon picked it up and gave it 3 more. 6 seasons. A complete story. A beginning, a middle, and an ending that earns everything it built. The science. I need to talk about the science. The Expanse uses Newtonian physics. Ships burn fuel and coast. There is no sound in space. Acceleration kills people. The political economy of resource extraction is taken seriously. NASA scientists and aerospace engineers have cited it publicly as the most scientifically accurate science fiction they have ever seen. Season 3 finale. I will not describe it. I will say I had to stop for 20 minutes. This is what science fiction is for. Not escapism, not spectacle. The use of an imagined future to say something true about the present that would be too raw to say directly. 6 seasons. All of it. Start from the beginning. Take your time. This is the one. That's the end of today's list, 15 shows. All are underseen. All are brilliant. Now, I want to know, how many of these shows have you already watched? And how many did you discover for the first time from this video? And if you enjoyed this list and want a part 2, let me know in the comments. There are still plenty of hidden gems and underrated shows that didn't make it into this video, and I'd love to cover them in a future edition. Drop your thoughts and recommendations below. I read every comment and try to reply to as many as possible. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to leave a like and hit the subscribe button. I spend hours digging through streaming libraries to find the best hidden gems, so you don't have to. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.